Alright guys, in this one we have a BMW. I think it's like a 2016 year model. Not too sure. We're going to verify that in a minute. The issue with this one is that we have a restraint system issue. So we're going to come in. We're going to try to do this diagnosis as quick as possible. They say the fault in airbag, belt tensioner or belt force limiter is actually malfunctioning. So gives us a pretty good indication of what's going on. What we're going to do is come into the system. We're going to verify all this, all right, just to make sure that we actually have an airbag fault. Now, very simple. Oh, the car shuts off by itself. What is that? Well, that's weird. Must be a BMW thing. I'm guessing after a couple minutes, if it doesn't sense anything, then it just turns off, which is weird. First time I've ever seen that. Alright, let's get into the system. Alright, so we're going to go into diagnosis. We're going to go into auto scan. We'll scan the whole vehicle and I'll bring you guys back. And that was actually very, very quick. Alright, so we have the advanced crash airbag module, CAS system. I just want to make sure that there is nothing. Rear electric module. Let's go report. Let's just see what's into the systems, what codes are in here, and we can go from there. Exhaust flap activation circuit, that's going to be for the back. Safety battery terminal circuit short to battery positive. Alright. Signal data invalid transmitter. Left brake lamp faulty. And invalid transmitter. Alright, so we're going to be dealing with the airbag module. Let's go in there. I'm going to pull up the code for this on Mitchell, and we'll see what is going on. Alright, let's quickly go over this wiring diagram, okay? It's a pretty simple wiring diagram. We have our safety battery terminal, gas generator, which is right here, which is connected straight to the crash safety module. Now, what ends up happening on BMWs is as soon as there is a crash or an impact of a magnitude big enough for the crash safety module to determine that there was a crash, it takes and it sends its signals down these two wires right here up to our safety battery terminal gas generator. Now, this basically is an igniter into your battery plus terminal. So the way that this works is we get a positive and negative that's going to be coming down. When that happens, I'm going to try to draw this out for you guys as best as I can. I am no artist, so bear with me, all right? All right, so we are going to have our control module. I shouldn't probably follow that. We're going to have our two wires coming out of our control module, all right? These two wires are going to come to a little inflator if you want. And a positive and negative is going to... and a negative is going to be sent out to this igniter. Now, inside of here is basically the exact same thing as an airbag, just not as potent if you want, or the explosion isn't going to be as strong. Okay, from there, what we have is pretty much our battery cable that is going to be connected internally. I'm trying to draw this out for you guys as best as I can, all right? So what ends up happening is that when this igniter ignites, there's going to be a small explosion. It's actually going to take and it's going to disconnect the cable from the interior of the connector, and it's going to take and it's going to push the cable backwards, and it's going to lock the cable pretty much in spot. All right, so what that means is that this cable is no longer connected directly to the battery plus terminal. All right, so when that happens, this cable is going to be locked in the back over here. You could easily verify this just by taking and pushing and pulling onto the cable. If the cable basically moves back and forth, is pretty much broken on the inside. So it's a good indicator for if your battery safety terminal needs to be replaced. Now, the high voltage code that we are getting is because there is now, after this guy takes and ignites, all right, think of it as now there's an open into our wiring, all right? So what we probably have is a 12-volt bias voltage just being sent out and being pulled down to the ground. And what ends up happening is that when there's an open into the circuit, it's unable to pull that bias voltage down to ground. So then all we see is a 12 volt on the signal line when it should actually be 0 volts. And that's it's going to determine that the system is open, all right, due to this one staying at 12 volts. And I hope that makes sense. That is the easiest explanation that I can give on how the system actually works. Like I said, I am no artist, so hopefully this little drawing helped you guys understand it a little bit. Just remember, all that happens is that inside there's an igniter system. The igniter system, when there's a crash event that happens, this igniter ignites. There's going to be a gas charge. That gas charge is going to push the cable backwards and lock it in spot in the back, but you will be able to move it back and forth a tiny bit. What ends up happening at this point is that you will not have full voltage to all the high current modules if you want, because there isn't really a direct connection. It's only going to be connected through like these terminals over here. So this guy's going to be connected over here even though it's locked. So this terminal right here is going to be pushed back and connected over here instead of directly connected to the battery plus terminal. So there's going to be a voltage drop that's going to happen. So you might have codes all over every single system saying low voltage, low voltage, low voltage, especially the high amperage systems. All right. But if you can take it, you can move this guy. You basically found what your issue is. So let's get back to the video real quick, and hopefully this explained the way the system works. If it didn't, leave a post in the comments for me and I'll try to do a better job, but this was just a really quick explanation on this system. All right, so I went ahead and did a few other little things. So the code that was up on the screen earlier was a code that was related to the B.S.T, which is the battery safety terminal. This terminal is connected onto the battery. All right, give you guys a view of that. I had to do this off screen, guys. I had to really try to get this car done. I have another car to go do also. So basically what's happening is that when these cars are into an accident, BMW vehicles, okay, there's a little terminal that's on here. It's called your battery safety terminal. Inside of here, what ends up happening when you get into an accident is that it actually creates an open circuit into the system due to the igniter opening and igniting the gas charge into the B.S.T terminal. So this is basically just a airbag connector, and inside of here we have a 2 ohm resistor, just like any other type of airbag system. So all I did was that I hooked up a light bulb to my system. All right, and what's that doing is basically imitating the resistance that's inside of the B.S.T. Now this is just a quick way to verify, make sure that your wiring is intact, and that it's really just a component issue at this point. If this would not have fixed the issue onto the vehicle, I would have had to take and verify my wiring at that point going all the way up, because this car was into an accident. So for all I know, the wiring leading all the way up could have been cut. All right, so what we're going to do right now is just go back into the vehicle real quick, and I'll show you guys that there's no more codes, and that'll be it for this one. I wanted to really give you guys a bigger diagnosis video onto this one, but I'm on a time constraint right now, so I have to try to get these cars done quick. But this is just to say, if you guys do have that code onto your vehicle, to come and take and verify this component up at your battery, and then from there, if everything checks out by bypassing the system, go ahead, replace your whole B.S.T assembly, which is this guy right here, and then from there you'll fix your issue. But if this doesn't get you to erase your codes, you're gonna have to verify further, which is gonna end up being checking all your wiring up to the module, and it might even end up being the module at that point. A little bit of bonus. Let's go in. Let's go check the live data real quick. This one said seatbelt, seat position, vehicle configuration, installation. So there's not even a live data for the seatbelt buckle contacts front, rear, seat occupation, vehicle configuration, status seatbelt warning signals. Let's check this. I'm not too familiar. Driver warning status, passenger warning status. What I'm looking for is the B.S.T. So exit. Let's go back into live data. Seat occupant detector. I don't think it's going to be in there. Nope. Seatbelt position. Maybe it'll be in there. Not at all. So really there's no data available for this one, which makes it a little bit hard to take and actually diagnose at that point. Let's go read our codes. Okay, our resistance is too high. I touched my wiring just in the back, so for sure it's going to read it too high. Let's go not replace, but let's go put our connectors back in, and then we'll come back and erase the codes again. All right, so I'll show you guys my setup in the back in a minute. Let's come in here. Let's erase the codes. All right, because I had an airbag code that was on, but it wouldn't. That was saying that the resistance was too high. Why? Due to the fact that my connection wasn't good. From there, what I did is I went and grabbed my decade box. I'm using my decade box right now in order to create the resistance for the system. I have it set up to about 2 ohms. And as we can see right now, my airbag light is off. My dash my infotainment system, I'm guessing, isn't reading any error messages. We'll switch the key off. We'll leave it off for a couple seconds. Airbag codes are pretty instantaneous, so if there is an issue, it should come back right away. All right. So we're gonna watch this little light down here. We want him to turn off and stay off. All right. So now he's off and he's staying off. All right. From there, we have nothing up here. So this confirms that the issue is into the B.S.T system. Like I said, I wish there would have been live data for this, but I really don't have any live data. It might be somewhere else. I'm not too familiar with BM systems. It's rare that I work on them. But it's not that I can't, it's just that it's rare that people call me for them, because they're more of a specialty item around here. So, read codes. No fault codes detected. System is fixed. Well, the system is fixed, all right? In this case, it needs the B.S.T wire in order to fix this issue. So, yeah, that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll show you guys my setup real quick before I leave you guys go, and that will be it. All right, so I initially started with my test with my light bulb, but there's an issue with my light bulb. I think one of my wiring became loose. So right now what I have is a decade box. All right, I'm just set up onto a 2 ohm resistance, and I just probed into the wires. Okay, I don't want to damage the terminals by probing into them, so I decided to pierce the wires in order to do this one. Okay, but there's 2 ohms going in. It's fixed the system. So that's it on this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.